In the first part, we crashed our rocket into a planet, called the local native population, and planted a factory, and ended by once again crashing our rocket. This time I have a plan. I'm going to improve the base for further space exploration excursions, and also, there's a massive beam coming to wreck my factory, and I'd like to prevent that. Another perfect landing, done by me. One would assume by now I'd know how to land something without crashing it, but alas, I do not. Anyways, we now get to clean up my mess, once again, move all the crashed cargo into storage, and some of the storage have some really fancy belts that I'm nowhere near to unlocking. I don't even know what 5 of these things are. Some of the debris from my park job has landed in the void of space. It's easy to clean up, but if I didn't bring any jetpack fuel, I'd be drifting off into the void until I hit another rock or the edge. And I mean it. Also remember, if you, per se, accidentally store your life support inside a chest without realizing, you'll start to suffocate. But it does remind you that you can hide inside of a space capsule, if I can get into it. There's also just a lot of debris up here in orbit that we'll need to clean up to see what we're actually working with. Ah, neat, space assemblers. And this is what we're left with, the perfect area to create space science. We'll start by expanding the platform. Now where did I put all those buildings? Place down the new science labs, place the construction robots in the roboport, hide in the space capsule because truth be told, an hour is not that long if you have no idea what you're doing, add storage for the science that I'll now need to import into space, and I have the easy part out of the way. Now, space science. We'll create a temporary setup to make space science to research better assemblers, belts, and Inferni to improve the ground base, and supply it with the cargo pad. I'm just gonna reload. And make a temporary setup to make science, add water to the system, and space science is being made. We're pretty much done up here. Before departing, we'll bring all the scrap back down. If I can get into the space capsule, that is. The scrap takes a lot of rocket fuel. We'll leave the scrap and return back to Nauvis with a modest rocket fuel price. With that out of the way, I have some goals I'd like to accomplish. First, upgrade all the yellow belts into blue belts, tripling resource allocation. Second, upgrade all the assemblers to tier 3 assemblers so stuff is constructed a lot faster. Third, make a new furnace stack, as the one I have now is terrible for the scale that I'm gonna need. Number 4, claim more ore patches, which means I should probably remake my train system, as the setup is kinda hard to add more trains to, so 5. And also protect myself from this Coronal Mass Ejection that will hit Nauvis in one day. And by that, I do actually mean a full 24 hours. To do this, I'll need to make an umbrella defense, which takes a lot of power, so I'll need nuclear power to power it. But I want Kovarex before I use nuclear, so I need to unlock production science. So, I need to colonize a planet with vulcanite. You may think that 24 hours is ample time to complete this, but I am very inefficient. And then maybe make a planet-wide meteor defense, because this is getting annoying. We can automate blue belts, make a blueprint for it, and upgrade everything. Should probably upgrade the belts to my belt assemblers first. And place down an assembler here for tier 3 assemblers, which means I've already accomplished 2 things. Kinda. I need them to actually make the belts and assemblers, and with the base I have now, we'll be done in roughly 1 to 2 business days. So I ran out of rocket science, which means I need to send up more satellites to get more space telemetry. So it's time to automate it. And while the bots build that, we'll blueprint a new furnace stack. How many furnaces do I need again? Oh yeah, 72. Perfect. And there we go. Now I want to place this furnace stack on top of the old furnace stack, but the only issue? I have a copper patch in the way, and I'd like to deplete it before I place Ferni there, because it would mildly annoy me if I did not. But I can build a small part of it, as my iron production is lacking. With the influx of iron, we can now upgrade the rest of the belts. Just like before, the bots can do the rest. Let's just hope I don't run into power problems, because that would be annoying. It would seem that the satellite rocket has finally been automated, which means I have discovered a lot of different planets. And if I look at the asteroid belt here, there seems to be a damaged spaceship, I'd like to send a rocket there and get it, but I am unsure if it has the stuff to repair it, so I'm kinda scared if I go there, I'll just be stranded. So for now, I'll just ignore it. And that's because I have more important things to tend to. In terms of ore, I have no ore. And I'm running out of patches to claim. So instead of looking for more ore, we can use the scan function. It will scan the entire planet, or until I tell it to stop. And it is important not to do a long task, like filling up another rocket, because it will scan an area bigger than you wanted. The northern area, however, does look like it has everything that I want. And with the satellite view, I can create defenses for the choke points, see how many walls and turrets I'll need to bring back so I don't need to make multiple trips to build the wall. It's a good thing I have the railgun. Unfortunately, it takes 2 shots now to kill the spawners, but at the same time, it only takes 2 shots to kill the spawners. And after 10 minutes, I cleared a lot of the spawners, but the rocket I was filling finally filled with rocket fuel, meaning I can launch the rocket, as I kinda ran out of science, because this is not moving. This is the first rocket launch with the space platform, so let's see how well it works. It should land here any moment. I feel like it should have landed by now. Let's see what happened here. Oh, this may be a problem. Oh, there's my rocket. So I spent another 10 minutes clearing spawners to launch the same rocket, but this time correctly. And when you select the landing pad, it works pretty well. You can put productivity modules in the science labs, which I forgot to put on the rocket. Third time's the charm. After another 10 minutes, productivity modules created, rocket launched, and modules placed. Huh, that's a lot of different science packs. This mod's gonna take a while. I also really need a Meteor defense system. I also started mining the ice on the platform, and I'm turning it into water via the electric boiler. Wanna guess when the electric boiler is working? But more importantly, the northern area has been claimed, where no one is allowed in or out. I just now need to kick the natives out. With some minor technical difficulties due to hidden bases. Also, the biters evolved and are now blue. The residential areas have been evacuated. Oh, I missed some. And there we go. We can claim the patches, build a train, and create train stations. Andrew Reynolds. We'll name it Iron. Actually, that was a pretty good name, but instead, Ryan Reynolds. Nice. I can't think of a name out of this one, so we'll just call it Stone. Train system has been improved. It's still shit, but it is better. So we'll say that objective is complete. But I'll quickly upgrade all these inserters to unload the trains faster. But I may have ran out of stack inserters, so I'll just upgrade 1 inserter each. So I'm not playing favorites, because that would be rude. And only 17 hours to spare. Still have ample time before I get beamed. Ooh, another rock. I think it's kinda neat watching them land. With my 17 hours to spare, I then decided the best course of action was to waste 2 hours doing absolutely nothing while my factory built blue belts. I am very efficient with my time management skills. Now it's time to get Vulcanite for production science, for Kovarex enrichment, for the umbrella defense. For Vulcanite blocks, we need water. A unique feature of most Vulcanite planets, they're waterless, which makes Vulcanite block production kinda difficult, as it now needs to be imported from other planets. A Scizar does have Vulcanite and water, but it has barely any Iridite, a resource that I'll need in the future, so I'll need to colonize another planet for that resource. It also has biters. Biters require turrets, walls, and ammo production. It also has a temple though. We also have Granus. Granus has Vulcanite and Iridite, but it doesn't have water. It also doesn't have biters, so I don't need turrets. And it also has a temple. So I've decided to colonize Granus. With the satellite view, I can blueprint the entire base without even stepping foot on the planet. One thing about blueprinting for a better future, make sure not to get delusions of grandeur. I initially set up 10 Ferni, which would need 8 red rocks each, totaling 80 red rocks per second. A blue belt can only transfer 45 red rocks per second, and I did not plan on making this setup that big. I did notice this, so I reduced it to 6 Ferni, requiring only 48 red rocks. But there is an important thing to note. The two buildings that make red rocks make nowhere near 48 red rocks per second, so I decreased the furnace stack to 2, decreased to 20% of my original furnace stack. All because I learned how to read. Also remember this, while blueprinting for a better future, time do not stop. Neither do space rock. Now we can pull the blueprint tactic. With this, I know exactly what I need to bring in terms of buildings. And when I have them loaded into the rocket, I can remove them from the blueprint. Work smarter, not harder. But remember to work. Otherwise, 12 hours will pass and you won't have much to show for it. We are now off to Granus to colonize the planet and allocate their resources for a better future. I would say that this park job went as well as my last two. Now, where am I? Why am I over here? Vulcanite, nice red rock. This is what we're here for. The ore does kinda look neat, almost looks like flesh. Or beans. That's kinda weird. Before we get too far into that, I need to relocate all 500 inventory slots of rocket cargo to this area, so give me about 10 minutes to move everything over. Then we'll build the base and use the power of the sun to power this colony. Solar energy is affected by the distance from the sun, i.e. closer planets have higher solar power and farther planets have lower solar power. This planet is closer to the sun than Nauvis, so I knew solar would be better. I did not check how much better before landing, and looking at it now, it's only 112%, meaning each solar panel only produces another 7 kilowatts, which is not as much as I was hoping for, so I'm gonna need more solar panels. But we do still have some power production, so we can now mine the vulcanite and begin crushing it. I have 8 crushers, apparently I only needed 4. Everything is working as intended, but I did run into another issue. The day-night cycle on this planet is 51.3 minutes. In comparison, Nauvis is only 6.94 minutes, meaning my colony has unionized and entitled themselves to a 15-minute break every so often. But once the break is over, the factory looks pretty neat while working. Solar is still building up. I swear it won't always be this slow. Vulcanite blocks are being produced and loaded into a rocket, and I have so many red rocks that I decided to double my furnace stack. And that's because 5 productivity modules decreases the crafting speed by 75%. With everything working, though a little bit slower than I intended, we now wait. Because that rocket is my only way back, and there's zero chance I'm wasting a rocket just to get back, because then I'll need to load a second rocket with vulcanite. Now for the third issue. I'm running out of sulfur. To make sulfur, it takes water. I don't want to waste the water I imported on sulfur. I want to use it on vulcanite block production. So we're going to use the delivery cannon, which is a lot cheaper than I originally thought. Which makes me kinda sad because I assumed loading the rocket was going to be cheaper. Now I don't think that's the case. With the delivery cannon ready, we can now dispense intraplanetary freedom. Wait, no, that's the weapon delivery cannon. Anyways, I should probably have automated this, because manually filling it is pretty time consuming. But at the same time, I'm kinda stuck on Granus, so it's not like I have anything better to do. And after some time, I've decided I have enough vulcanite blocks, and I'm kinda bored on this planet, so it's time to go back to Nauvis. And this is important because in terms of production science, I now have one more resource acquired. We technically have everything that we need, it just may be a little complicated. For machine learning data, we need blank data cards and cool thermofluid, which needs polished data, which needs rough data, cosmic water, or chemical gel. which needs iron plates and glass. Easy. Cool thermofluid requires cooling thermofluid, which needs random stuff and chemical gel, which needs cosmic water and petroleum gas. And plasma requires chemical gel and stone. Most of this stuff also can only be made in space, so I need to send all the base materials to space via a rocket. I am quickly remembering why I quit this mod the last time I tried it. So we'll make another temporary setup to accomplish all of the previous stated goals, get hit by a rock, and while repairing that, get hit by another rock. Anyways, we'll place the production signs here, and in the meantime make a logistic storage for everything, because I may have been just deleting and replacing the belts to get the materials off of them, which is not that effective. With only 8 hours left to spare, everything is coming together. Belts and assemblers have finally been completed. This stupid copper patch still exists, so the improved furnace stack will have to wait a little longer. But we can start making iron ingots for production science, but we need pyroflux. And to get that, we can start core mining. This bad boy takes a shit ton of power, but it also makes a shit ton of every single resource, and pyroflux. So we'll crush it, store the liquids and the ores so it continues to work. Then start making liquid iron and turning it into ingots. Then we'll make these rough datasets on Nauvis, as it's the one thing we don't have to make in space. Then import everything into space. To make production science, we need to make more space platforms, so we can place everything down. But this fancy space assembler does not fit, so we'll have to remove some of the already placed platforms so I can place down this assembler. Unless the bots take the platforms to the production science blueprint. Shit. We'll just have to remove more then. This is not working. I might have to try something else. We'll remove the fancy platforms, and a bot is going up. Perfect. Now we can make platforms 8 times as fast. We'll then rotate the temporary setup and temporarily supply the buildings with logistic bots. Space exploration has this fancy mandatory mod that makes your logistic robots crash and burn if over 50 are active at a time. The reason behind this was to counter the strategy of using bots to supply everything, but I countered their counter with another mod. Maybe they shouldn't have made recipes so complicated if they didn't want bots to be the superior choice. Or at least let the underground space pipes be longer. Since I have everything so condensed, I have to employ whatever the hell this is. At least the buildings look cool while working. We will hop into the next cargo rocket, so things are built a lot quicker. But mostly so we can bring down all the scrap and rocket sections that have been stockpiling up here. We are finally researching Kovarex enrichment with only 5 hours to spare. And would you look at that, it will only take 3 hours to research with the setup I have now. Why is it so slow? Oh, it's because the plasma takes an ungodly long time to craft. But it does look neat, so let's triple it. 3 times as fast, 3 times as cool. While Kovarex is researching, we can build the nuclear reactor, able to produce up to 480 megawatts. I mean, there's no reason not to build it. It's not like anything can happen to it. Oh cool, another meteor. Let me just finish this up and see where it landed. Mother! We also may have ran out of iron ingots. Luckily, we can sporadically send them up via the delivery cannon. We still don't have enough, so I'm going to need to double it. We can also create the umbrella defense while we wait. This thing is massive. Now we just need the nuclear power, so we can start using this. If this would hurry up. Kovarex finally researched, and I got an achievement for it. Only 3 hours to spare. What other achievements are there? Why can't I unlock these achievements? Can't be unlocked with easier enemy evolution settings. Well, that's stupid. I have the recommended space exploration settings on, which lower the evolution settings. I wasn't going to unlock it anyways, but it's the action that matters. Well, we can finally start production of the bright green rocks. We have a massive quantity of dark green rocks in storage, and a good amount of bright green rocks too. With my estimation, this will take a very long time. So let's get beacons to speed this up. That's actually kind of funny. In space exploration, you can only have one beacon boosting a building, which makes the graph look kind of funny compared to the base game's beacon transmission strength. And I wonder, You can't place modules in a core miner, but can you boost it with a beacon? No you can't. But you can do centrifuges, and with 3 hours to spare, I'll be fine. We have the modules automated, which will be convenient for when we unlock the big mining drills as it has 5 slots. Another Meteor. Fine. Once the power is online, I'm also going to get planet-wide Meteor defense. But with big mining drills, we can drain this uranium patch a lot faster. And also the copper patch. And there's not much left to do. Well, actually there is, but I don't want to do anything until this is done. And if you thought the 24 hours was a very long time, this is exactly how it took me 21 hours to get to this point. And nice, they're making it past. Awesome, things can begin. The umbrella defense should probably be put down in the base. With 47 minutes to spare. We'll put you right there, lose power, neat. This thing takes 10 megawatts of power consistently, even though it's already fully charged and it only needs to be activated minimum every 24 hours. That's kinda dumb. I want my power back. But at least we can build the Meteor defense, which will also defend the orbit where my space factory is. In hindsight, probably should have given it its own section, but oh well. They look pretty neat once constructed. Now I want to watch them work. Which shouldn't take too long with the speed they're destroying my shit. Any second now. With the uranium patch depleted, there's not really any reason to send sulfur up here anymore. Wait, no! Do it again, I wasn't looking. Well, I haven't done anything for the last 45 minutes besides stare at these Meteor defense. As you can tell with the 1 minute left on the Coronal Mass Ejection. I could place the umbrella defense now, but I think it would be a lot more fun to see how much damage it can do. And they're spawning. Just nowhere's near my factory. This is pretty anticlimactic. This one's close. But why does it have to destroy all of my trees? I kinda wanted to keep those. So far, all they've done is destroy my yellow belts, which I no longer really need to worry about upgrading to blue belts, and my mining drills, that I also don't need to worry about upgrading to big drills. I feel like I was worried for nothing. Well, I saved before the sun's incursion. I want to see how effective the umbrella defense is. Ooh, it lights up and turns blue. Drains my power. And why are the beams still spawning? I feel like that wasn't supposed to happen. 1.6 gigawatts and rising. I thought the point of it banking 1 gigawatt of power was to prevent the sun's deadly lasers. Apparently, that's not the case. But they're still not that scary, and this time they're doing more damage to the biters than me. And they aren't even damaging the biters. Will this increase the evolution factor? Well, that was useless. But now, I wonder. If I trimmed the surface, making the explored area significantly smaller, will this increase the sun's destruction? So far, kinda. A beam has migrated north and is destroying my train system. So this would mean with my singular test that the scan function is a better defense than the umbrella defense. Thank you for watching. Feel free to leave a like, subscribe, or leave any feedback. I am open to suggestions and you will not hurt my feelings unless you call me ugly. But I guess that wouldn't really be feedback. Ah, sick, it finally shot.